Tonight, shots fired.
I definitely would not expect anything like this to happen in this neighborhood, you know.
A home in northwest London riddled with bullets. The shooting captured on camera. Plus, imposing a supervisor. The serious concerns in Bruce County over health unit management. And coming up with contingencies.
We had to start to think outside the box and pivot our plan.
An adventure for local cyclists getting to their overseas competition.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with gunshots in northwest London. Someone opened fire into a home early this morning. The shooting captured on surveillance video obtained by CTV News. With more on the police investigation, here's Daryl Newcomb.
Watch as a car pulls up in front of a house on Fox Ridge Crescent in the top right corner of the screen, where a white SUV is parked in the driveway. Seconds later, a cluster of shots ring out. You can see muzzle flashes as the person in black fires the gun from the sidewalk. Daylight revealed a cluster of bullet holes in the garage door and the front of the house. London police say no one was injured, but hours after the shooting, neighbors remain on edge.
I didn't hear anything, but friend's dad, he told us that he was hearing some gunshots last night.
London police spent the day collecting forensic evidence at the scene. The investigation has been handed over to the Guns and Gangs section. The video also captured what appears to be the same vehicle driving up to the house in the moments before the shooting, but then suddenly driving away. The headlights shine on the front of the house before it races away northbound. Only moments later, the shooter's vehicle drives up in front of the house and they open fire. A disturbing chain of events on a quiet street where children's toys and sports equipment could be seen on the adjoining front lawn to the house that's riddled with bullets.
I definitely would not expect anything like this to happen in this neighborhood. You know, it's a beautiful neighborhood, beautiful people here. But, you know, again, London's unexpected.
No arrests have been made. London police are asking for assistance from anyone with information or video from the area of Fox Ridge Crescent and Toccola Trail between 3:20 and 3:55 Monday morning. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Police in Oxford County say a 30-year-old from Strathroy was killed in a crash near Ingersoll last night. According to police, it happened on Culloden Line south of the 401 just before 7 p.m. between a sedan and a transport truck. Police say the person driving the sedan was taken to hospital but did not survive. They also say a passenger has undetermined injuries and no names have been released. The police investigation kept surrounding roads closed until about 4:30 this morning. OPP have released photos of suspects they say are involved in a road rage incident. According to police, it happened August 8th in Mount Forest, and a victim received minor injuries. Police say the first suspect is described as East Indian with black short hair and an average build. He was wearing a white sleeveless shirt with gray pants and black shoes. The second suspect is described as East Indian with black short hair, wearing a dark colored shirt, black pants, a ball cap, and white shoes. Police say the two men may have been driving a dark colored 2017 Nissan Sentra. Police in Sarnia are reporting charges after a recent drug bust. They say they've charged a 64-year-old man after executing a warrant yesterday. Police say they seized cocaine and other drugs worth almost $15,000, as well as more than $10,000 in cash.
Good evening. Today was one of those perfect days you want to bottle up, days like today, and make them last. I hope you had a chance to open up the windows, let that beautiful fresh breeze in. It's been through the day and continues this evening, so if you can keep the windows open tonight, I would suggest it. Temperatures dropping off to comfortable levels through the overnight. We were in the mid-20s this afternoon. The humidex on the lower end, with the exception Sarnia and Chatham feeling close to 30, but the rest of the region feeling like the mid to low 20s. Satellite radar showing a little bit of light rainfall off to the northwest. We will see increasing amounts of cloud cover as we head into your Tuesday. We do have a little bit of rainfall on the way with a possibility of a thunderstorm. Coming up, I'll take you through the forecast. We'll talk rainfall for your Tuesday, but we're back into sunshine as we head into the weekend. I'll have your forecast for you coming up in just a few minutes.
Canada's Labour Relations Board has deemed the Air Canada flight attendant strike illegal. That decision as the federal government tries to force them back to work without a new contract in the midst of hundreds of cancelled flights each day. With the latest, here's Heather Wright.
For the third straight day, Air Canada flight attendants are on the pavement rather than in the skies, defying orders to return to work.
And if it means folks like me going to jail, then so be it. If it means our union being fined, then so be it.
The Canada Industrial Relations Board ordered the roughly 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants to return to work yesterday after the federal jobs minister asked the Labour Board to intervene just hours into the strike.
When the government came in and tried to stop our strike 12 hours after we started, we decided that that was not enough to put pressure on Air Canada to come back to the table. That's all we want. Air Canada, come back to the table.
At issue, wages and unpaid work. Flight attendants are only paid for the hours they work in the air, which doesn't include boarding and other on-the-ground duties. The airline has offered a pay increase of 17.2% over 4 years, which the company's CEO calls an excellent offer.
That will result in our flight attendants being the best compensated flight attendants in Canada, bar none.
But the union says that increase doesn't account for inflation over the last decade.
Starting flight attendants now are making $1,900 a month in an area where rent is $2,000.
The job action has left roughly 500,000 passengers stranded, many unsure when they will be able to get home.
I'm supposed to start a job on Wednesday. That's not going to happen.
Today, the Prime Minister weighed in, calling the impasse disappointing.
I urge both parties to resolve this as quickly as possible, and the Minister will have more to say. Minister Hyde will have more to say later.
The union is challenging the back-to-work order in court, so it's unclear how much longer this strike might last. Some estimating it is costing the airline about $60 million a day. Heather Wright, CTV News, Mississauga, Ontario.
Some of those impacted travelers include local cyclists trying to get overseas for a World Championship event. As Brent Lail reports, their frantic efforts to find a backup plan paid off, managing to get there just in time.
It's been a long week, for sure.
With Air Canada planes grounded, Canada's U20 cycling team had to improvise its travel plans just to make the World Championships in the Netherlands. That squad includes 3 St. Thomas athletes.
We had to start to think outside the box and pivot our plan and come up with different solutions, with the flight out of Montreal to Amsterdam being canceled.
In what became a scenario similar to a John Candy movie, the team and coaches packed up and drove 5 hours south.
We found 2 willing drivers, 2 15-passenger vans, and grabbed one of our Cycling Canada trailers, and we packed it to the gills. I don't think we could have fit another bike box in it, and we were quickly on our way down to Boston.
While they were en route, their staff in Ottawa were frantically looking for available flights to Amsterdam.
Delta had the available seats, which is important, and then also, more importantly, the available room for all of our equipment. We traveled with 32 bike boxes, and they're not small, they're not hard to get around, and airlines sometimes struggle to take that much luggage. So fortunately, they were able to fit us in on, I think, less than 24 hours notice. So.
After hours of travel, the team has arrived and will be ready to compete.
We're all relieved today to get to the velodrome and unpack and have all of our equipment and see the velodrome, and we'll be training tomorrow, getting ready for racing.
They'll worry in the coming days about how they'll get home should the strike continue. Brent Lail, CTV News.
With so many flyers trying to find other options, all those airlines are now dealing with an onslaught of last-minute bookings. As Jean-Pierre Beauchemin reports, finding seats on those carriers is getting increasingly difficult and expensive.
The search for an escape hatch from Air Canada has travelers looking for other means of transportation. But aboard planes, there's limited space, especially in peak summer season. And adding flights is not exactly a smooth ride for other carriers.
It's not like the TTC, that the subway goes down or the metro goes down and you can add a bunch of buses right away. It doesn't quite work that way. And for a safety perspective. The other thing is you have to be able to get the gates at the airports.
Still, Porter, Air Transat and WestJet say they're looking at adding some flights on a few routes. In a statement, WestJet said that it is positioning larger aircraft onto key routes and working with airport partners, pilots and cabin crew to add a limited number of extra flights to help accommodate guests. Air Transat says to respond to strong demand, it's also adding some flights and using larger aircraft on some transatlantic routes. But safety regulations, including the availability of flight crews and hours they can fly, limits scaling up. Add that all in, and the cost of a ticket isn't cheap.
Well, it's going to be pricey. That's just the way it's going to be. All airline pricing is based on demand. The demand was high to begin with.
Air Canada is hard to replace in the short run. It handles 43% of Canada's domestic market, 50 million passengers annually. Charter flights like those that fly out of this small airport here outside of Montreal may pick up business, but that won't be cheap. There's also Via and buses on some routes, and there's also the cost of rental cars, but that's going up too. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
The provincial government has imposed a supervisor overseeing Grey Bruce Public Health, citing serious concerns about health unit management. As Scott Miller reports, it's a decision the current board chair takes issue with.
It's some dark days at the Grey Bruce Public Health Unit as the province is now in charge after they say serious issues were uncovered in a months-long investigation. Following multiple complaints regarding the board's operations, finances, and governance, the Chief Medical Officer of Health launched an independent review of the Grey Bruce Public Health Unit. The review identified serious concerns with the board's ability to fulfill its responsibilities, including issues related to governance, leadership, financial management, and human resources. The Grey Bruce Public Health Unit Board, as well as Grey Bruce Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Ian Era, now answer to Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Kieran Moore, who pointed to unstable leadership, conflict amongst board members, and a lack of financial oversight as reasons for the takeover. The province nor Health Board Chair Nick Saunders would go into specific examples of those serious issues the province identified, but Saunders, for one, doesn't think the reported issues warranted a provincial takeover.
I do not believe that it is at this level that Mr. Moore has to take over the board. Mr. Moore has created this problem.
Saunders says he was first called into Dr. Moore's office in Toronto in June, where he says Dr. Moore and his colleagues proceeded to badmouth Dr. Ian Era, the current medical officer of health in Grey Bruce. Then in July, Dr. Moore presented the province's assessment to Saunders and the rest of the board. Amongst the immediate recommendations from the July 18th letter shared with CTV News by Saunders was to work with the counties of Bruce and Grey and Ministry to immediately replace the municipal members on the Board of Health. Saunders and the board were given 30 days to come up with a plan to start addressing the province's concerns. On August 6th, Saunders started doing just that, he thought, letting all 7 municipal representatives on the Grey Bruce Public Health Board go. Then on August 14th, Dr. Moore sent a letter to Saunders and the board saying he was taking charge, partly due to the chair's attempt to unilaterally remove municipal representatives on the Board of Health without the authority to do so.
He dumped this on my lap and say, "This is all you're doing. Sorry, but I'm not having a part of this." This was his doing.
Dr. Moore has since reinstated all 7 municipal councillors to the Grey Bruce Public Health Board. Although the recent actions regarding the board were unexpected, Bruce and Grey counties appreciate the recent actions taken by the ministry, and we are reassured we have a path forward. Board Chair Saunders isn't so sure.
Mr. Moore is putting a lot of undue stress on the communities and within the health unit.
This is an intervention specific to Grey Bruce Public Health. There are no planned changes to other boards of health in the province, says Dr. Moore. In Grey Bruce, Scott Miller, CTV News.
A London auto parts company is closing down, putting almost 50 people out of work. Qualtech Seating Systems is expected to fully shut down by October 10th. A statement from its parent company says 49 employees will be affected. Qualtech supplies seats and other parts to the Cami Bright Drop assembly plant in Ingersoll. General Motors had announced operations would be paused at Cami back in April because of slow sales. The factory is scheduled to resume production in October, but will be down to just 1 shift and fewer than half the previous workforce. St. Thomas police say they've arrested a suspect twice in the last week, accused of breaching his release order by showing up at a local pool. With more, here's Brian Bicknell.
It's enough to make some parents uneasy about their children's whereabouts and well-being.
Might be walking home after they've attended swimming lessons or after they've come with a group of friends. That certainly makes me nervous that they're around the vicinity where there's so many impressionable young kids and vulnerable kids in this area.
According to St. Thomas police, on Saturday, an 80-year-old St. Thomas man was arrested for breaching a release order by showing up at a local pool. Police say they found out after being contacted by a GPS monitoring service. One parent who didn't want to be identified says keeping kids safe and active can be a difficult balance.
It does make me feel a little bit uneasy about my kids being in more public spaces. It's hard because you want to protect them, but at the same time, they do need to be, they do want to do activities in public, and there's only so much you can do to keep them safe.
But it wasn't the first time. In fact, police say this was the second time in less than a week with this same individual. The first time it happened was last Tuesday. The man was arrested for breaching his conditions by going to a pool. He was taken into custody but then released, but this time fitted with a GPS monitoring device. Parent Gavin Saunders lives across the street from a local pool. He says he's glad the monitoring device worked the way it was meant to.
As long as he's wearing his ankle bracelet and the police know what his whereabouts are at all times, then I think that's a matter for them to deal with, for sure.
Police say the suspect appeared in court via video over the weekend. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Coming up, Premier Doug Ford appeals to the Prime Minister for lower taxes in the face of American tariffs. Plus, housing starts across Canada trending up. However, concerns the rates still aren't fast enough to improve the housing crisis.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Rock the Runway is landing at the London International Airport September 12th and 13th. Enter at CTVLondon.ca for your chance to win a pair of VIP tickets to see Marshmello, Baby No Money, and more on Saturday, September 13th.
Premier Doug Ford met with the Prime Minister in Ottawa today. As Rachel Aiello reports, he's asking Mark Carney to cut red tape and taxes, hoping to ease the burden on many businesses caught in the trade war.
What would you like to talk to Mark Carney about today?
Oh, we just have a lot of things.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford arrived on Parliament Hill today with lots to talk to Prime Minister Mark Carney about.
Well, we'll talk about the housing sector. We'll talk about steel, auto, new sectors of the economy, including artificial intelligence, what we're doing in terms of making Canada competitive.
It was their first face-to-face meeting since the latest round of trade talks with U.S. President Donald Trump fell apart.
We know President Trump's unpredictable. We have to find out what we need to do to make sure that we create the environment and conditions for companies from around the world to continue investing in Canada.
Yeah.
And we'll have that discussion.
I think we're working well together, but we've got more to do and get it done.
Both emerged from behind closed doors an hour later, saying they were on the same page.
Very good meeting with the Premier.
But they were non-committal about any immediate action that would put money back into businesses' bank accounts or ease regulatory burdens while they're still facing tariffs.
We had a great discussion. Nothing happens immediately in that room.
It remains murky where trade talks stand, but for his part, Ford has no plans to travel to Washington anytime soon.
When they need me, I'll be down there, giving my colleague Howard Lutnick a little poke.
Oh, do you think he needs one?
He needs a couple more pokes than me. Don't worry, I'll poke him.
Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc was in the room for the meeting, but left without answering reporters' questions about the state of negotiations with the Americans. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Voters in Alberta are casting ballots in a federal by-election today, which will determine whether Pierre Poilievre regains a seat in Parliament. The Conservative leader is trying to secure the Battle River Crowfoot riding. He's expected to win comfortably in an area considered a Conservative stronghold.
I don't think he'll do anything for us because he'll just be another puppet.
I think he's perfect to represent this riding.
He's going back to Ottawa or Ontario and staying there. He doesn't care about us.
The by-election was called when the Conservative candidate who won the spring election stepped down, allowing Poilievre to run instead. There are more than 200 names in the running, the vast majority of whom are part of a protest group calling for electoral reform. In response, a special write-in ballot has been created rather than a massive list of names to check off. New housing data shows the pace of building in Canada is picking up, but not fast enough. As Maria Saru reports, that's particularly apparent on Prince Edward Island.
Homes are taking shape across Charlottetown, construction crews working hard. For its size, PEI is building at roughly double the national rate, according to the newest numbers.
We're small, but we're very resilient. We like to get things done.
But like other provinces, the island can't keep up with demand or the pace needed to restore pre-pandemic affordability by 2035, according to the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. In July, Canada's home building was 4% faster than in June, at about 294,000 homes per year. But that's still far from the CMHC's affordability benchmark of 430,000 to 480,000 home starts per year. This home I'm standing in is a work in progress, greenlit well before today. One of the reasons for the building bump is that pre-planned projects like this one are going ahead. But the National Housing Agency says that doesn't reflect current investor appetite. In fact, the CMHC is projecting a slowdown later this year.
We've been in a context where the economy has been quite uncertain. We've been facing geopolitical uncertainty as well.
While tariffs and higher costs are making homes harder to finance, the Construction Association of PEI's executive director says there are bigger challenges.
Shortage of skilled people will continue to be a problem, in the years to come.
So builders here say they need more help to turn frames into finished homes. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Health officials in Brantford say a daycare which was shut down last week over rabies concerns can reopen. They say the building is now safe after a dead bat was found and tested positive for rabies. Hannah Schmidt has more on the subsequent investigation.
What started with a deceased bat with rabies inside this Brantford daycare ended with a full public health sweep. Now, children are back inside the classrooms.
My first priority is the safety of the children, and that's how I reacted. We're happy to see the children's faces. It brings a smile across our face.
Creative Minds Daycare confirmed the dead bat was found in a room for preschool-aged children last Monday. And just one day later, there was another sighting of a bat, this time alive and flying around one of the daycare's hallways.
That's when I contracted one of my contractors to come in and seal every hole and crevice in the building as the building is older, and also met with GNC Care, who looked after our deep cleaning.
Parents were alerted to the situation through an app the daycare uses to communicate with caregivers and guardians. Grand Erie Public Health says a small group of people came into direct but low-risk contact with the dead bat, including a child who handled it. They were given precautionary rabies shots, a series of 4 doses.
There was still thankfully no high-risk contact, such as a bite or scratch, that was ever reported during our investigation. The overall risk does still remain low in our region as well as throughout the province.
The daycare temporarily closed on August 13th. Since then, the owner says they had been working with public health officials to take proactive steps.
We're going to move forward with policies and procedures to know what it looks like if we see a bat, what happens, what's the protocol, who to call, and the staff know what to look for.
Over the weekend, a public health inspector went room by room, checking for signs of bat activity and ensuring safety standards are being met.
So the structural modifications were assessed to ensure that any potential entry or re-entry points were now blocked off. The public health inspector also performed all routine inspections from a infection prevention and control compliance standpoint and all criteria were met.
If you follow the brick all the way to the top, there's a big metal flashing up there. So beneath that flashing, there's a small gap. And keep in mind, they only need about the size of a dime.
Wildlife crews also checked the property, sealing off any entry points and making sure no more bats were inside.
We didn't find any other bats. We seal up the entire perimeter of the building and then install these devices that we've pioneered called one-way doors that allow the bats to exit, but then they can't get back in.
The daycare calls the ordeal a learning process and says moving forward, communication with parents will be front and center. Approximately 145 children are cared for at the center.
Today has been a very supportive day. It also has been a very informative day in the aspect of looking at the things that as a company owner that I may have missed. Their children are the most important thing to them, and we need to make sure that their children are the most important thing to us.
Hannah Schmidt, CTV News.
Julie's on the desk with me now on what was, can we call it a perfect summer day at this point in August? A beautiful day in London today.
Yeah, the Goldilocks kind of day. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. It was one of those awesome weather days. I wish we had more of them in the forecast. Temperatures in the low 20s across the region. It was so cool and fresh this morning. I was mentioning off the top of the show, so nice to have the windows open. In terms of our air quality today, it was excellent. We had this beautiful fresh breeze. Tracking a little bit of weather off to the west-northwest. That's associated with a low pressure system and a warm front, and that will start to roll in. For tomorrow, we have some rain in the forecast. Showers expected to develop early in the afternoon and the potential for a few thunderstorms. Big hurricane brewing just north of the Bahamas. This one will stay offshore. It's going to trek off to the north and then drive eastward. So that's good news. It will bring some rough surf conditions, of course, to the Maritimes, but keeping an eye on that. As we take a look across the country tonight, it was a quiet weather day. There's one warning or advisory I wanted to mention, and that's in northern New Brunswick, and it's a frost advisory. So that's just giving us a taste of what's ahead. Today it felt almost fall-like, but we're back into some summer-like conditions as we head into tomorrow. But temperature-wise across the country tonight, looking a bit cooler. Next 36 hours, you can see the rainfall as it starts to come in tomorrow morning. Now, could see a bit of a steady rain develop anytime after 11. We'll see some showers in Midwestern Ontario a bit earlier in the day, and then heading into the afternoon, we get into the warm sector. That means there's the potential for a few thunderstorms. So the warm front comes in, we're in the warm sector. That means that rising air, and then as the cold front tries to approach, that will spark some showers and thunderstorms. If we get under one of those thunderstorms, we'll see some heavy downpours. So there's lots of moisture to work with. So we're back into the warmer conditions and the higher humidity into the afternoon tomorrow. But it'll be a nice cool start to the day. Temperatures overnight dropping off anywhere between 12 and 16 degrees. The low pressure area will be driving southward overnight, bringing this warm front towards the area with some scattered showers and thunderstorms, as I mentioned, into that warm sector. Not going to last too long, and the rainfall out ahead of that warm front under 5 millimeters. It'll be if we get under the heavy downpour where we see those numbers quickly come up. So your forecast through the day. Bringing in the cloud cover mid-morning, showers developing early afternoon, light rain with the possibility of thunderstorms. Forecast high coming in tomorrow at about 26 degrees. Our Metal Roof Outlet forecast, chance of showers Wednesday, although the probability drops down to about a 40% chance. Wednesday looks more like a mix of sun and cloud with a slight risk of an isolated shower. Thursday, Friday, back to mainly sunny to a mix of sun and cloud, 26 to 28 degrees. It'll be 26 on Saturday with some showers moving in Saturday into Sunday. Could see some thunderstorms with a big temperature change dropping as we head into early next week. Midwestern Ontario, scattered showers developing, some light rainfall mid-morning, afternoon rain, possibility of some thunderstorms for you as well. And then Wednesday, mainly cloudy, probability drops down to a 30% chance. And then Thursday, Friday, a mix of sun and cloud. You'll see a few scattered showers this weekend. Not a washout, but daytime highs anywhere from 21 to 25 degrees. So we are expecting another cool down early next week. Carlyle, back to you.
Thank you, Julie. Still ahead, we'll answer the question, who pays the deductible when your vehicle is targeted by vandals?
Big shout out to our friend Angela, who is our grand prize winner and is off to Kelowna to check out the CCMAs.
This September, she's going to have a fabulous time. And make sure you keep your eyes on our website, purecountry93.ca. You never know what's coming next.
More beer stores across our region will close soon. Beer store officials say because of changing retail trends, locations in Grand Bend, Forest, Sauble Beach, Markdale and Harrow will all close on October 19th. A major milestone this past weekend at a local golf course. Lauren Stallone has more on the family business still thriving after half a century.
50 years ago, what started as an open patch of land and a dream quickly became something far greater. Not only a course for golf, but also for memories.
Lindenshire was built in 1975, and Bill and I just happened to be the guys who played the first round here.
Now, as the course marks its anniversary, friends Bill Carnier and Tim Condon are looking back on their favorite moment, the first hole-in-one.
Well, it was in 1976, and it was on the 7th hole, and it happened to be the first hole-in-one here. So, yeah, that was something I always treasure.
The pair say they are grateful to see their family business grow, building community and friendships along the way.
It's built a lot of friendships. People come together here and you know, have a great day out on the golf course, and yeah, it's a great spot.
It's also been wonderful to watch things grow. When we were here, the trees were only 2 feet high, and now look at the place 50 years later. It's amazing.
Hundreds gathered to celebrate the milestone with live music, shared stories and games.
It's just great to see all these faces, and so many people have been here, over generations, and to see everybody here, it's pretty special. Being here for 50 years, right? Since we were quite young.
Siblings Mike Condon and Kelly Weber grew up in the family business, and now their own children are growing up around the course too.
It's special that it's a great place for them to grow up, as it was for us.
As for the future of the course, the family says it's on the green and they plan to make every shot count. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
A man in the Toronto area says he's frustrated with his insurance provider because he's been told he has to pay his deductible after his vehicle was vandalized. As Pat Foran reports, there are options for reimbursement, but they're far from guaranteed.
Randomly, someone just attacks your vehicle.
Rana Mashoud of Scarborough says he was returning home after a night out with friends when he was stopped at a red light. That's when a woman, without warning, started kicking the front of his vehicle.
She made a hand gesture, like as if she was pointing a gun. And then she ran up to my vehicle and started kicking it.
Mashoud says in a matter of seconds, his car was extremely damaged.
My whole front bumper, my grill is broken, my camera is broken. I have my sensors that are damaged. One of my headlights is gone.
He called the police and the woman was arrested, but he was upset to find out he would have to pay the $500 deductible, even though he feels he did nothing wrong.
You're the one who has to pay your own deductible because this is not another vehicle that hit you. It was a pedestrian.
Mashoud is insured with Allstate, and a spokesperson told CTV News deductibles are a standard component of many auto insurance policies, and that where possible, Allstate will pursue recovery from the responsible party and reimburse the customer's deductible if successful.
It is very standard in every auto insurance policy where you have optional physical damage coverage that there is a deductible.
The Insurance Bureau of Canada says while Mashoud will have to pay the deductible, he can try to get the person to reimburse him by going to court.
There is the potential of the driver taking the offender to small claims court to recoup their deductible.
Mashoud says he feels it's unfair that a person can vandalize his car and not have to pay to repair it.
As just an innocent person, it doesn't make any sense to not only have my vehicle damaged, but at the same time be liable for a deductible.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index saw small gains to finish today's trading session. The TSX up 17 points in New York. The Dow fell 34. The Nasdaq added 7. Canadian dollar dropped by just 1/100th of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold lost $4.60 an ounce and oil rose 72 cents a barrel. When we come back, another blow to the local auto industry. Major Ontario plant announcing dozens of layoffs. Welcome back. Stellantis officials have announced about 100 workers laid off at the Windsor assembly plant. A company spokesperson says the decision was made as part of volume adjustments. Union officials say the plant has been overstaffed and the facility is in the early stages of a 2-week summer shutdown. The provincial government's decision to force all employees back to the office full-time is prompting a conversation about other public sector workers. As Beth McDonnell reports, municipalities could soon follow suit.
GTA municipalities are taking note of Ontario's civil servants being ordered back to the office full-time come January.
I think it's the right call.
Brampton's mayor saying workers perform better in office and his city will do the same.
I believe we're more productive in the workplace, being present, and the fact that the provincial government is being the first mover to return to full in-person work weeks is a good thing.
Toronto's public service, like other municipalities, has many first responders, transit operators, and maintenance workers. In all, it has close to 44,000 employees, and the city says of those, 30,000 or 70% can't perform their jobs remotely, with more than 12,000 doing its hybrid work program, which requires them to be in office 2 or 3 days a week. Mayor Olivia Chow doesn't seem eager to make further changes.
We'll examine that, but majority of it we already have most of our workers at work.
Torontonians' opinions are mixed.
Go to the office when you have to. More time for the family.
It makes work a little bit less accessible for people. You know, like, for example, if someone has a disability.
If there's too much of a chance that they won't be working a full day if they're just staying at home.
While some worry what more commuting will do to the city's already snarled streets.
The traffic for sure will be very worse. Right now, already worse.
Mississauga's mayor says 80% of its 8,400 workers are already back full-time. And since January, the remaining 20% must come in 3 days a week.
We monitor it, and there's two things we have to monitor: the impact on the public, which we do surveys, and we take a lot of care in talking to people and saying, you know, are you getting your service? Are you getting your calls returned, and so forth. And we're also monitoring our staff.
She says all department heads report employees being productive and believes the city is getting the same efficiency from people whether they're remote or at the office. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
Provincial police say human remains have been discovered in a remote area on the Bruce Peninsula. According to police, they were found by archaeologists last week, and they've been sent to the chief coroner for investigation. Police say they performed a follow-up search in the area and no other remains were located. Calls for justice and change in Toronto after an 8-year-old boy was killed by a stray bullet.
Which just made me sick. There's too many innocent people being shot, and this has to end.
According to police, the boy was in bed with his mother early Saturday morning when the shots were fired. The family have started an online fundraising campaign to cover funeral costs. At this point, police have released no information on potential suspects or arrests.
Cool, clear, and comfortable overnight. Low pressure area moving in for tomorrow with a bit of rainfall. Thanks, Amanda, for this photo of Preston and Sawyer enjoying the falls in Ben Miller. Definitely some great weather ahead to get out and have some fun. Back into a mix of sun and cloud as we move through midweek and some sunshine heading into the weekend.
July's inflation data is expected this week from Stats Canada, and economists say they'll be looking at how businesses are passing higher costs from tariffs down to customers. The numbers from June showed annual inflation increased about 2%. Economists say tariffs likely kept inflation higher for food and durable goods. They also suggest the Bank of Canada will need to see inflation fall before any new interest rate cuts. A new report from Equifax Canada shows 1.4 million Canadians missed a credit payment in the second quarter. That's up by nearly 120,000 compared to the same time last year, but a slight drop compared to the first quarter of 2025. According to Equifax, younger people are dealing with worsening financial challenges, seeing their average non-mortgage debt rise 2% to more than $14,000 compared to a year ago. Family members of two siblings who drowned in northwestern Ontario last month are advocating for more awareness and swimming lessons for kids. With more on their message, here's Alex Carpa.
They were really close. He loved his little sister.
July 30th, 2025 was a day Stacey Grant will never forget.
That phone call, I replay it in my head every day. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. It should never have happened.
15-year-old Caden Grant and his 12-year-old sister Jocelyn drowned in the Wabigoon River in Dryden, Ontario. Stepmother Heather Dodd says Jocelyn fell in first.
When she submerged, her brother, who also did not have very strong swimming skills, went in after her to try to rescue her. And unfortunately, he succumbed to the water as well.
Approximately 460 people fatally drown in Canada each year. This according to the Life Saving Society of Canada, and over 50 of those are children under the age of 14. To combat this, the family is launching a foundation called Water Wings. It's aimed at raising awareness about the importance of water safety for school-aged children. Grandfather Michael Williams is now petitioning Ontario Premier Doug Ford to bring swimming lessons back into the elementary school curriculum.
The problem is that it's being offered only as an opt-in basis, whereas I think it should be the other way around. It should be opt-out. So it should be a negative option. So schools have to do it unless they have a valid reason why they can't do it.
Heather says she will do anything she can to bring forth awareness.
You don't want to be in our position. You don't want to ever feel what we feel.
Stacey, Heather, and Michael are hoping their family's story will help prevent future tragedies so others won't have to go through the same grief they are currently experiencing. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
An appeal from Canadian bird lovers to help feathered flyers as their fall migration gets underway. As Tim Brooke reports, passing through cities can be treacherous, but there are measures available to improve bird safety.
To most humans, it's a beautifully lit cityscape worth taking a photo of. But other species look at it a little differently.
Birds get distracted. Ooh, shiny, and they turn their way into the city. And once the birds are in the city, a number of things can happen.
The fall migratory season for birds has kicked off, and our lights can lead to a dangerous turn.
They might see those interior lights and think it looks like a nice open forest, and they see the surrounding windows and think that's the trees they need to avoid, so they might fly directly into that light.
More than 16 million birds die from window strikes every year in Canada, and this year has already been more deadly than usual, largely thanks to a change in weather patterns causing an early migration.
Between August 9th and 13th last year, we had 11 birds. And the same time period this year, we've had 38. So even if you look at that small window of time, it's much, much higher than last year.
So a simple request. Conservationists want Calgarians to switch off their lights each night from 11 o'clock to 6 a.m. That will help birds differentiate between pass-throughs and obstacles.
It is the easiest thing in the world to do. Just flip a switch and it's going to make a huge difference.
There are also simple daytime changes that could protect migrating species.
So now is a really critical time to people to mark their windows to prevent them from being death sentences for the birds migrating. But the markings have to be close together, 2 inches apart, like we have on the window here.
Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest on the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Get ready to rock the runway. We want to hook you up with tickets to see Marshmello and Baby No Money.
September 13th at Rock the Runway. Tickets are on sale now, or listen to 97.5 Virgin Radio this week for your chance to win.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, a man from British Columbia running across the country. He's raising money for mental health services, which he's had to lean on himself in times of personal struggle. With more on his journey, here's Kimberly Johnson.
Sachin Laddie says running saved his life.
I was struggling a great deal about 5 years ago with my mental health. Ended up having a major depressive episode, so it all kind of came to a head.
The former border service agent from BC says by running, he was able to find purpose.
Running for me is community connection and movement. So I'm moving, I get to connect with people and I get to create a community around me.
Now he's running across the country, aiming to raise awareness and $1 million for mental health initiatives. The journey from BC to Newfoundland is done by running an ultra marathon a day. That's 50 kilometers every day.
I think the mental health crisis that Canadians are feeling right now is an existential crisis. So I think it's extremely important that we talk about it, that we do something about it, and that we engage community with it.
According to Statistics Canada, nearly 1 in 5 people over the age of 15 experience mental health issues.
Getting them to be active helps them with school, helps them with relationship.
On Sunday, Laddie was joined by youth and members of the Ottawa Police Service running 5 kilometers in the nation's capital. Randy Gill is with Their Opportunity. It's one of the charities Laddie is raising money for, which creates programs for underserviced youth to join athletic programs.
It's important for us to get the word out how important physical health and well-being is as much as mental health and well-being. It's connected.
Ottawa Police Deputy Chief Paul Burnett says this advocacy work is vital for first responders.
We're running towards danger when others are running away. So managing that on a daily basis can be a struggle for our members.
63 days in, the journey leaving an impression.
It's truly inspiring.
To be honest, I could never do that, but to have somebody who cares so much about others' mental health, it's great to see.
The entire journey is expected to take more than 80 days.
People are struggling every single day. This is super important, and we're not stopping.
Kimberly Johnson, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.